Let's talk about Sherwin Williams SuperDeck. Squirrely Williams. Sherwin Williams SuperDeck.
You still want to make sure that you're putting it on thin to win so that it has a chance to penetrate and soak in. Next is going to be our semi-solid. So semi-solid is special because it lets some of the wood grain through, but it doesn't cover it up like a paint or a solid would. So a lot of people like this because they hide the imperfections of an older deck, but they still let some of the wood grain through.
Yeah.
So next we have our solid. This one's going to be thick like paint. You can put it on and roll it, brush it like you would with paint, but it's going to perform like a stain. Another cool thing with the semi-solid and the solid is that you can get it in an IR reflective, which means that it's going to bounce back the rays of the sun, and it's going to help that surface feel a lot cooler to the touch.
Yeah, so you can walk on your deck barefoot, not burn your feet.
Now lastly is our deck and dock coating. If you take a look at this up close, it's going to be
super
extremely
thick,
sludgy
like yogurt.
and thick. This one is not going to be thin to win. You actually put it on at 100 square feet per gallon, but the idea with this is that it's going to bridge the gaps in weathered wood and extremely old wood, and it's going to almost act as a resurfacer to get you a new surface, a new look on that deck. There's also an anti-slip that's built into the deck and dock, so it feels a little bit more grittier to the touch. So here we have the stain and sealer remover, and then we have the Revive. On deck projects, we always tell people to start with the water test. If you put water on the surface and you see that it beads up, you know that there's not going to be any penetration, so therefore we're going to have to take this sealer off. So the stain and sealer remover, it's blue in appearance, it's going to be a little thicker like a paste. The idea is to put it in a pump sprayer, mist it on the surface, and then you're going to want to work it in with a brush. So here we're working that stain and sealer in with the brush, and you can almost see that the stain is falling right off the surface.
Now is this full strength or do you dilute it?
This is full strength, there's no dilution.
Okay.
So after you do the stain and sealer remover, we always say rinse it off with water, and then you're gonna have to neutralize this surface with Revive. So Revive is an oxalic acid. It's gonna soak into the wood, it's gonna brighten it, it's gonna take a lot of those old weathered gray parts of the wood out, and basically get you back to that good surface that you can then stain to make it look nice. So we did the stain and sealer remover, we took the stain off, we did the Revive and we neutralized it. Lastly, on a deck project, you would hose it off, make sure that there's no lingering films on, and then ultimately what we're gonna be left with is a board like that.
Once it dries, yeah. Ready for stain. And last we have SuperDeck transparent stains. There's 5 stock colors. Thin to win, 1 coat application. And here are some of my favorite colors. 2 of my favorite colors, obviously a cedar tone, you know, gives you just super light, gives the color some wood, makes it look like it's wet. And Canyon Brown is kind of one of my favorites for a lot of reasons. It's actually a dark brown color and gives the fence a nice look, but you still can see the wood grain. And some people really don't like orange or red, and if that's you, then this Canyon Brown is the color for you. And also, the darker the transparent stain color, the better UV protection. So, and I know a lot of my customers will opt to do the cedar tone on the first time around, and then maybe down the road, you know, maybe a couple coats of cedar tone, and then after they let it go, which most customers do, you know, we'll come back around, we'll pressure wash, and we'll hit it with some Canyon Brown, and then that's good for a while. That preserves the wood and really gives it a nice natural tone. Squirrely Williams. Squirrely Williams. Sherwin Williams SuperDeck. Listen, let's talk about SuperDeck.